Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'd like to deliver my speech about orca whales should be freed from captivity. Before I start my speech, I'd like to start off my speech by asking you some questions. And that is, how would you feel if you lived in a bathtub for your whole life? And how would you feel if you lived inside a prison and forced to be performed in front of thousands of people almost every single day? Well, I know this question might seem a little bit weird, but this question relates to the lives of orca whales inside the captivity. Because they do live in the bathtub with the size of pools compared to the huge ocean that they would live. So today, I'm going to be telling you about the issues of orca whales in captivity and why orca whales should be freed from captivity. First, I will tell you why orca whales are wanted for entertainment at SeaWorld and other marine parks. Second, I will comparing the lives of orca whales in the wild versus they lived in captivity. And lastly, the expenses of inhabiting orca whales at SeaWorld. Before we are going to the first topic, I would like to tell you a brief explanation about orca captivity. So, orca captivity is a place where the orca whales is being kept or captive. They are placed in a tank or big aquarium. The purpose of this captivity is to save the orcas, especially who left out from its pod or family, having injuries and having disability that make them cannot survive in the nature. So, the trainers in these marine parks will train them and breed them, with the aim is to get them back to the ocean when they're ready to be released. One of the most famous orca captivity or marine park in the world is SeaWorld, which is located in USA. SeaWorld is well known for their marine creatures performance, especially their orca whales. People maybe think that the whales that perform in front of them are happy and healthy, but is that a true reality? Orca whales are known as one of the most intelligent animals in the animal kingdom. On graymattersjournal.com, Lars Crawford's article called Killer Whales Are Non-Human Persons. He compares the human brain to the brain of orca whales. He states that the wrinkle-like appearance on the mammal brain, which is called cortical folding, is similar to the human brain because they both have a high amount of cortical processing, and that's the process of thought, memory, and basic motor skills like language and social abilities. So that's why SeaWorld and also the other marine parks around the world have a big desire to have an orca whale as one of their performers, because they are so smart and it will be easy to train them. On uswhales.org article titled Brainpower, it states, research and observation in recent years have revealed that whales not only have the ability to learn as individuals, but those individuals can pass on their knowledge onto the other orcas. Because of this, it's much more efficient to bring a new orca than any other sea animals to be performed on their show. So, an older orca can train other orcas. This makes the marine park management only have to spend half of their time and also their money. So it's much more efficient to have orca as their performers. But this brings me to my second point. From the documentary movie about Tilikum, or one of the orca whales in a SeaWorld called Blackfish, Howard Garrett and Lori Moreno said that the whales aren't in their family or pods when they're inside captivity. They are just simply put in random assemblages by management. Because of this, the orcas can act aggressively toward each other, and there will be biting and will be and there will be a teeth mark left on their body. So this is the teeth mark, as you can see, the one that pointed by the red arrow. So if SeaWorld is putting completely different orcas together, then they are more than likely to lash out and attack each other. So therefore, they shouldn't be putting different orcas together, but instead leaving them in the wild where they can be with their pods that they belong to. Just imagine, if you're a mother and your child is taken away from your family, would you feel not sad? Now, relating back to my question at the beginning of my speech, us.whales.org states that in the wild, orca whales swim 100 miles a day. They would have to swim 1,400 times around the main pool to be equivalent to what they would swim in the wild. So you can see that they are being placed in the pools 14 times smaller than their natural habitat, which is ocean. And some more facts comparing the lives of orcas in the wild to their lives in captivity are 92% of orcas in marine parks do not survive past the age of 25, but in the wild, they can live up to 80 to 90 years of age. Also, due to shallow pool, the whales that are kept in have a 100% dorsal fin collapse here to gravity pulling it down from being above water, and this occurs in less than 1% in the wild. So not only the collapse of dorsal fin, you can see this also other injuries on their chin, in the tip of their nose, because some of the orcas are stressed and also depressed, so they're likely to bump their body to the tank or the pool. Which leads me into my last point, that SeaWorld spends millions of dollars on their animals yearly just for food, shelter, and any medical care, where in the wild there is zero spent on orca whales. CNN.com October 11, 2015, and O'Neill states, the California Commission unanimously approved SeaWorld $100 million plan to double the size of its killer whale habitat. So instead of releasing the animals into the wild for much smaller cost, they are choosing to spend millions of dollars on something that will only put more anxiety and stress on the whales. That just seems crazy. Now, some say that this is good because the orca can move more freely in their new tank or pool, but I think they should still be released, the orcas, where they can have miles upon miles to just swim straight. If they insist on keeping the orcas in captivity, I suggest to keep them in sea sanctuary. That way, the orcas can live in their natural habitat and also still get supervision, care, and also control by the experts. And finally, we come to a conclusion. I first told you why orca whales are wanted for entertainment. Second, I gave the comparison about the lives of orca whales in the wild versus in the captivity. And lastly, I told you about the expenses of inhabiting orca whales. So, from hearing both sides of this argument and hearing the evidence supporting the argument, I hope you can decide whether or not you will agree with setting orca whales free from captivity. Or perhaps you have any suggestion in mind on other way to captive the orca instead of keeping them inside a pool or tank. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much and goodbye.